This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Presented by Huntington Federal Savings Bank.
We're here once again. We're going to try this one more time at the Union Pub and Grill. Paul Swann, your host for today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. As we always do on Mondays, we come to you from the Union. $1.50 bottles, $2 call shots. 1125 4th Avenue in Huntington. We're going to try this again and apologize for our technical problems. We are starting off the new year, and of course, sometimes the equipment, sometimes the internet connection maybe doesn't want to start the new year with us. So we're going to hold here, hopefully, for the rest of the show. And as I was trying to talk about with you earlier, and I don't know how much you actually heard, but Grant Wells, Marshall's quarterback for the last couple of seasons, putting out a statement on Twitter earlier today indicating that he was going to be transferring. He said in his statement, Herd Nation, thank you for everything these past 3 years. Thank you for every single coach that I've had the opportunity to learn from here at Marshall. Thank you to every single teammate that I've had the opportunity to play with. Thank you to my friends and family who have helped me get to this point in my life. It has been a tremendous honor to be Marshall's quarterback for these last 2 years. I've made memories that will last a lifetime. With that being said, I have decided to transfer from Marshall University. So he's leaving now. So what does that mean for the quarterback position at Marshall? You would have thought that Grant would have been right there in the mix for the position. You've got a lot of talent coming in at the same time. Nothing's a given. You don't know how good that talent is until you get those individuals on campus and you have an opportunity to start working with them. And would you have really started a true freshman at quarterback? Would you have tried to work them in the system? But what has happened here is you have one less quarterback now competing for the position, and you don't have maybe much veteran leadership there at that point. So what do you do here? Do you go out and maybe try to look for someone in the transfer portal that can maybe fill the need, someone that's maybe a graduate senior, someone looking for a final opportunity to be quarterback? What do you do in that case? Now, we're going to take your text this hour, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. It's been a few days since we've done this, so you can join us on our text line. We do that every day, no matter where we're at here at the Union or in studio. And the text line is 304-523-2275. That's 304-523-2275. So we'll give you a couple minutes to get that going. And it's been a few weeks since we've had a chance to actually sit down and talk. So I'm looking forward to hearing what your comments are about that. But the transfer portal, it's more active now than ever. I mean, you have a few years ago, maybe a few players would take advantage of sitting out a year, going to another institution, another opportunity. Now, you basically get I don't like it here, or I need to leave here, and you get to go to another school if you find a landing spot. No questions asked, right? Okay, let us go to the text line. As I said, it's been a while since we've had a chance to actually talk to you. Here we go. Texter writes, and this texter, actually here, it's a three-parter. Several questions. Question number one from this texter: who do you believe will be the top candidate for the quarterback spot? And they add, I know an easy one you'll get a lot of probably. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Pennington, Cole Pennington. Wouldn't you like to see a Pennington at quarterback again at Marshall University? I know that's what a lot of Herd fans are rooting for. Do you believe Wells had this plan well ahead of his announcement this morning? With all the quarterbacks coming in and currently on the roster, did he know his time was almost up? I think he probably took the holidays. After the bowl game, he probably took the holidays and talked it over with his family, talked it over with his coaching staff. Hopefully he talked it over with the coaching staff, Coach Huff, and came to maybe a more informed decision. I don't think this was just a spur-of-the-moment decision, so I'm hoping that he had a chance to sit down, talk to his coach and say, look, what's realistically, what's it going to be like here for me? Am I going to, be able to finish out here? Am I going to, have to sit down? What's going on here? And I think some of that had to do with the fact there's a lot of competition. And let's be honest, after the bowl game and for several games, Herd Nation was on top of Grant, very unhappy with his performance, unhappy with the way that the bowl game went, the way that a lot of things went. And, of course, I'm not saying that's the reason why Grant decided, I'm done with this place. But a lot of fans were on him. A lot of fans are going to be on you anywhere, but fans were on him. A lot of people wanted him to do this, wanted him to go. So for those of you who maybe wanted to see Grant Wells no longer the quarterback, you got your wish. You got your Christmas wish, and it starts off your new year. Here is a third part of this text. Any rumors of picking another quarterback from the portal with Huff's recruiting prowess, we may end up with a good one. Hey, that's a possibility. You never know. I would say that if there are not individuals that have been identified, there will be soon. And with that said, I'm pretty sure that already there are individuals that have been identified before and probably during and after. There will always be individuals that are identified. And if I know from my limited time with Coach Huff, if I know him, he's already got plans. He's not coming into this, surprise. Yeah, he has plans for what happens here, what happens tomorrow, what happens next week. He seems to be a planner for sure. He's definitely well organized, and I envy him for that. He definitely has discipline, and he knows his recruiting so far. I mean, so far he's been pretty well organized and pretty prolific when it comes to recruiting. So I give him a lot of credit, and I'm not too concerned as far as what Marshall's going to be able to do as far as the transfer portal. And, again, you're bringing in players to create some depth, so maybe you don't have this issue in the future. All right, another texter writes, and, again, apologize for my internet connections. A little iffy here today at the Union Pub and Grill. Happy for Grant, happy for Marshall, nothing but great things in the future for both. Grant can go somewhere that he can shine against weaker competition, most likely. Coach Huff can insert who he wants and will work best in his system. It's a win-win. I mean, that's a good point. You're bringing in quarterbacks that you want to run your system. You usually go get the quarterback and run what you want. If you are a new coach, you come into a situation and you want to run one style of offense and you have players that are more adept at a different style, it's going to be maybe a tough transition. I mean, you can make it work, but that's a good point. You bring in someone that can run your system. All right, still scrolling the text here, and again, the text line is 304-523-2275. I do apologize for our slow internet here as we're having a little issues here. Okay, I got to edit this one a little bit here. A crap game on the big stage for Marshall and no response after the game. Doesn't he have timeouts to call slow them down? Okay. All right, that's an older text, it looks like. Again, I do apologize for our quickness here in reading these. It's 304-523-2275, 304-523-2275 to be a part of today's show. We're coming to you on location from the Union Pub and Grill. Now, here's a text. Interesting. Texter writes, I dare you to open your show with, congrats, Herd Nation. You've successfully run off one of the winningest coaches in Marshall history and a quarterback that's destined to break every passing record. Well done. Okay, so this texter is a fan of Doc and a fan of Grant and basically feels that Herd Nation has run off not only a winning coach, the winningest coach in Marshall history, and a quarterback that had the potential to break a lot of records here. How do you respond to that? Are you in that camp that you feel like best things are coming for the Thundering Herd? Or are you in that camp that, okay, you lost a really good coach, now you've lost a really good quarterback? Where do you stand? 304-523-2275, 2275 to be on today's edition of The Drive. Paul Swann, your host here at the Union Pub and Grill. Grant's not the only one entering the transfer portal. We're going to talk about that with you when we continue. As I mentioned, we'll get your text in again, 304-523-2275. And, of course, I'm pretty confident now we're going to be connected for the rest of the show. So we've got our technical problems disconnected, hopefully. Those are done. And you can join us now on the White Claw phone line at 877-420-TALK. That's 877-420-8255. You know, usually any good team that has maybe a slow start usually can rally in the second half. I think we're going to do that here as we start the new year. We've got all our technical issues ironed out, it feels like. We're going to continue second half of the show coming up here from the Union Pub and Grill. Paul Swann, your host, on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Brought to you by Huntington Federal Savings Bank, the local bank that's here for every step of your life's journey. Member FDIC.
We're coming to you today from the Union Pub and Grill. I'll remind you every Monday that you got to be here for the $1.50 bottles and $2 call shots that you can only get at the Union Pub and Grill, 1125 4th Avenue in Huntington. We've been talking about Marshall quarterback Grant Wells announcing that he is transferring from Marshall. Brett McMurphy, America's newsbreaker when it comes to college athletics, tweeted this out earlier, that Oklahoma quarterback Caleb Williams entering the NCAA transfer portal. I'm not saying get your hopes up, but you're looking for a quarterback, maybe there's one on the market. I don't know if Caleb would be a good fit for the Thundering Herd, but he's saying that staying at Oklahoma will definitely be an option for him. But still, there are quarterbacks to be had if you are concerned about a quarterback position, trying to fill that need. And, of course, we're opening the text line back up for you. You can throw in your name or throw in your thoughts anytime. We do that every day on the show at 304-523-2275, 304-523-2275. Just give me a couple minutes on the text as you send them in. We're here on location today, so our internet's just a little slower than usual. So if I haven't got to your text yet, I will. And don't worry, we keep those archived as well. So if I miss it today, we'll get to it tomorrow definitely. But I do want to give you that option. And, of course, you can do it the old-fashioned way. You can join us on the phone lines. The White Claw phone lines, 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255. And if you were with us earlier, I mentioned not only was Grant Wells announcing that he is leaving Thundering Herd, we've also going to have to maybe think about how to fill a defensive tackle position because T.J. Johnson went out on Twitter earlier today and actually declared for the NFL draft. And here's what T.J. said. His statement reads, "Thank you, Marshall. I will forever be thankful to Marshall University for giving me the opportunity to live my dream and play college football. I want to thank Coach Price, Coach Brown, Coach Street, and Coach Huff. I want to thank my teammates who I call my Herd brothers. My journey here was the toughest, most rewarding experience in my entire life. I am forever grateful to the people I've met here and the love that y'all have shown me. I've grown so much on the field here, but it's nothing compared to what kind of man I am becoming. I am a son of Marshall for the rest of my life, and I proudly stand on that. With all of that being said, I am officially announcing I am declaring for the 22 NFL draft, and that is, again, from defensive tackle T.J. Johnson. So not only are you losing a quarterback, you're losing a defensive tackle. Now, there are a lot of ways to replace him. Now, I'm not saying that he is expendable, but I'm not as concerned about that position as I am, of course, the quarterback position, because, again, you had someone who had some leadership and some experience at the position, and, of course, the position wasn't a given that it was going to be his. So with Grant leaving now, what is an option for you here? Are you hoping that someone can win out some of the recruits that have signed the Thundering Herd? Maybe someone can win out in that position. It's going to be interesting for sure. And I know that things have changed a little bit under Coach Huff. You don't actually get an opportunity to maybe hang out, watch practice the way you used to under Doc. I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon. But at the same time, if that does open up a little bit, it's going to be interesting because, you're going to have that opportunity to maybe watch some of those battles. And if you don't, of course, we're going to find out, talking to Coach Huff, spring, summer, where that position's going to go. And I'm sure that's really not going to be decided until we get to close to the first game. That's honestly the time we'll finally find out. I mean, we have plenty of time here to see what happens with that position. But at the same time, it's going to be fun spring and summer, right? That's definitely going to be what is going to be on the mind of a lot of Thundering Herd fans. What's the quarterback position going to look like for the Thundering Herd? And maybe, just maybe, Thundering Herd goes the transfer portal route, or Marshall just decides, okay, final year in Conference USA, going to sit here and just try to build for the future. Start from scratch, have someone win the position, and roll with them. Instead of, okay, maybe you bring someone in for a year, let them lead the team, and then you start grooming your quarterbacks, and hopefully one of the quarterbacks will emerge from the battles. You have an opportunity here to maybe long-term that position, build some depth at the same time. I mean, there are so many opportunities here now at the quarterback position for the Thundering Herd. But at the same time, you lose that experience because Grant was your most experienced quarterback on the roster. And I never thought that Grant was a bad quarterback. Maybe I'm in the minority. Maybe I'm not in the same camp as some who thought that Grant was not the answer. Some of you think maybe it's the play calling. Some of you think it's the quarterback. Some of you think it's a combination. I don't know where you fall in that. Maybe you're not in that camp whatsoever. But a lot of Herd fans got their wish, and there's going to be a new quarterback at Marshall. A lot of Herd fans probably not 100% happy that you're losing a quarterback at Marshall, but that's where we're at right now with that position. And so, yeah, I got a lot of people today personally just text me. There are people who were like, are you surprised by this? And honestly, I'm not surprised. I don't want to sound that like I was expecting this to happen, but I'm not surprised about what happened here today. It really wasn't one of those situations where I thought, okay, well, I didn't see that coming. I wasn't expecting it today, but I didn't see that coming is not one of those expressions because it's going to be tough. The quarterback position is going to be extremely competitive. I would believe it's going to be, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you feel that now there's an opportunity for a lot of questions to be answered, which recruit maybe can take position? I mean, do we talk about Chase Harrison? Does Chase win that position? Do you look at him and think, okay, maybe Chase is our quarterback, Chase Harrison. He's the guy that we're going to bank on here. And he could be your guy. Or do you look at Cole Pennington and go, you know what? It would be great if Cole could come in and win that position, and then we can get back to the glory days of Thundering Herd football. We got a Pennington running the team, a quarterback named Pennington. And honestly, when's the last time that Herd fans really loved the quarterback almost 100%? Was it Byron? I know there were maybe some knocks on Byron early on in his career. But has there been a quarterback since Chad Pennington that Herd fans have just been almost 100% on board with? And I can't go back that far. I can't think back. Michael Payton? Which, by the way, one of the all-time greats at the quarterback position for the Thundering Herd. I saw a poll on Twitter over the holidays. Someone had put a poll out talking about best quarterbacks and left Michael Payton off that list, which immediately made me want to say delete that poll and redo it. But back to this dilemma here. Is Cole Pennington going to be the answer for Thundering Herd? Does he come in and lead the way as a freshman? And see, that's the thing. I don't know. Or is Peter Zamora going to be your answer here? Who's going to be the answer at quarterback? Or do you see an outside chance that maybe someone comes in from the transfer portal just to take that spot? Maybe a graduate, someone who's got a year left of eligibility, so they can come in, fortify the position as you start building up your quarterback room. And what about Mr. Zaban himself? I mean, you have someone else on the roster. Does that mean that now we get to see a Zaban at quarterback? That's a possibility. Keep that in mind. We get to see possibly a Zaban at quarterback. Phone line is open for you. You can join the program. The White Claw phone lines are 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255. The text line is 304-523-2275, 304-523-2275. You can be on today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're here today at the Union Pub and Grill on location. Again, a little lagging behind here on our text. We are going to get them in as they load in, as our internet connection was a little weak today. So apologize if I haven't got to it yet. We are getting to that, but we'll get your phone calls in. We'll get your text in. And don't forget, if you come here today at the Union Pub and Grill, it's Monday. So the Monday special is $1.50 bottles and $2 call shots. That's every Monday here at the Union Pub and Grill. We've got more coming up here from the Union on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Presented by Huntington Federal Savings Bank.
Final segment from today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're getting ramped back up for the new year. We start off here at the Union Pub and Grill, 1125 4th Avenue in Huntington. If you were with us earlier today, we announced that Grant Wells has made the decision to transfer from Marshall. We're getting your thoughts now. Our text line is open, 304-523-2275, 304-523-2275. This one's a long one, but I'm going to read it all. This texter writes, no one has driven neither Holiday nor Wells off. And this is in response to a texter that we had earlier on the program that said Herd Nation basically ran off the winningest football coach and a quarterback that was going to break all records. This is continuation of this reply to that person. To the texter, when you're winning, everybody loves you and expects you to keep winning. Same way with being a quarterback. When you're winning and get put on that pedestal because you have good percentages with respect to accuracy, Herd fans will love you to death. But they will continue to expect consistency from the quarterback throwing, passing off, or running with the football. Both coach and quarterback are expected to be the leaders. And, yes, they have a tough job. I don't feel people really wish Wells would leave. I think they were really wishing and hoping and expecting him to have a better season than when he had in the 2021 season. I'm sorry, what he had. Again, long text here, but it's worth it to read. Texter concludes, if new quarterbacks are coming to Marshall, then Wells knew he probably was going to have to be competing for his position, especially if they're possibly junior transfers. Only time will tell how both situations will pan out. Good luck, Wells. Go Herd and Coach Huff. You can join the text party as well, 304-523-2275, 304-523-2275. I would hate to think that Herd fans are really trying to run someone off. I really hate to think that. And you want your players to succeed, right? I mean, you're not you want the team to succeed. You want the players to succeed. It's a little different. I think college and pro, they're different dynamics here. You get passionate about college because that's your school. For a lot of us, went to Marshall. That's your school. You get passionate about that. So, it's a different sense of identity here. At the end of the day, when I watch the pros, I love the Bengals. If the Bengals lose, I'm probably still going to be a Bengals fan. If they win, I'm going to be a Bengals fan. And it's a business. It's entertainment. I know that. I think it's blurred a little bit more with college. It's a business. it definitely is a business, but it's blurred a little bit because, I mean, that's my school. That's not – that's my team. I watch them because I like watching them. That's my school. So, yeah, I can see where the passion's different. I'm not saying it's more passionate or less passionate. It's apples and oranges really comparing the two. I love pro football. And, when my team has a bad day, I can disconnect from that. Okay, yeah, they had a bad day. Get them next week. Hate that the Bengals lost again to the Steelers. Oh, wait, that hasn't happened in a few games. So, okay, I'm good there. But you get my point. With college, it's a little bit more passionate. And, the texter's right. When you're winning, everybody loves you. If I'm having a good day, everyone loves me. If I'm having a bad day, I hopefully still you will love me. You'll just, maybe, nah, you're not doing it for me today, Paul. I hope that's not the case. But, we all have bad days. We all have bad performances. We all, hopefully we get better. And so as the quarterback, you have to be the leader of the team. You're the quarterback, so you are the leader of the team. Now, you have to either take that position and go with it, you grow into it, but as the quarterback, you are one of the leaders of the team. If you're not one of the leaders of the team and you're the quarterback, we got a problem here. And so I'm sure a lot of Herd fans were hoping that Grant would have a better year. And I'm sure a lot of Herd fans were hoping that someone else would come in and maybe push him or take the position. Because at the same time, you want to win. Let's be honest here. You love these kids to death. If you're a fan of this program, you love all these kids. But if Grant wasn't going to put you in the position to win, you're wanting to see someone else come in and maybe have that opportunity. And is it going to be Cole Pennington? Is it going to be Chase Harrison? I mean, I think we talk about those two the most. We don't talk that much about Zamora. Maybe we should. I mean, honestly, to be fair, it's anyone's game right now when it comes to these youngsters that are coming in. But I would think the fan favorite might be, just from a fan point of view, probably Cole Pennington. Am I wrong on that? Are you saying that maybe it's Harrison? Or are you thinking maybe Zamora is going to be the guy? Or are you leaning towards, hey, I want Pennington to be the guy? Because it would be so great to have another Pennington lead the Herd. I mean, that's the nostalgia right there, right? And now I don't want that put on his shoulders, though. If Cole Pennington's the quarterback at Marshall University, if he wins the job, I don't want any comparisons to Chad Pennington because that's not fair. I mean, Chad Pennington is Chad Pennington. Cole has to go out and make his own path and have his own successes and his own failures. And I hope that no one compares him to his father and lets him just develop in his own time and his own way. I mean, you want him to be as successful as his father? Sure. But I hope no one compares him and puts that on him. And I'm sure there will be those who go out and, well, your father was better. Why can't you be more like your father? I hope you're like your father. I hope he's successful like his father, but I want him to be successful. I want to see what Cole Pennington looks like as the quarterback. I don't want to see a rehash of Chad Pennington at quarterback. No, not. I wouldn't put that on his shoulders here. You want to see someone successful. Hopefully, hey, maybe Cole will be better. Now, if he's better than his dad, that'll be much more entertaining. Then you can look at him and say, look, yeah, your son's better than you, and he'll smile and go, yeah, he'll love that. But where's the quarterback position going to go here? And it's going to be interesting spring and summer. That's for sure. We have something to talk about for the upcoming weeks and months as it is cold outside and we have no football here other than pro football right now. Hopefully we've got an interesting spring and summer. Text line is 304-523-2275, 304-523-2275. Got a couple more minutes to go until we say goodnight here from the Union Pub and Grill. Reminder that you can be here right now at 1125 4th Avenue in Huntington. Take advantage of the Monday special. It's $1.50 bottles and $2 call shots. We do that here at the Union Pub and Grill every Monday. I like to think they do it for me. But it's the Monday special. I'm just a part of it as we do the show here every Monday. So if you haven't had a chance to come to the Union in a while, come down tonight. Take advantage of the $1.50 bottles and $2 call shots. It's every Monday here at the Union Pub and Grill. Now, of course, if you're lucky, you can catch Herb here on an occasion, the proprietor of the Union Pub and Grill. If you've never been to the Union, let me tell you, if you love Thundering Herd nostalgia, this is the place. You can come here and find artifacts from several decades of Marshall athletics, not only football, basketball, soccer, anything that you possibly could imagine. It's probably either on the wall here or stashed somewhere in the vault that Herb has of old Marshall and Marshall-esque memorabilia. So if you've not been to the Union before, now's the perfect time to find out what you've been missing. And again, we invite you to come down every Monday, but you can come down anytime. 1125 4th Avenue, Huntington here for the Union Pub and Grill. Okay, coming up tomorrow, we'll probably carry over talking about this, where Marshall will be next. As far as the quarterback position is concerned, we've got a lot to talk about. Marshall women's basketball is doing well right now, so hoping to catch up with Tony Kemper later this week to talk to him about his squad. Also, Marshall men's basketball has kind of hit a roadblock right now, not having a successful go of it. How many games they're going to have, I know that's going to be something we're going to be keeping an eye on. How many games are going to be able to be actually played. I know we're having a increase in game postponements once again due to the COVID-19 outbreak. The Omicron variant has been plaguing sports teams. And, of course, we have got the NFL playoffs coming up here soon. And let me tell you, I'm excited because the Bengals haven't been in a few years, so you should be excited as well if you're a Bengals fan like me. I definitely want to hear from the Bengals fans in the Tri-State. You know, you haven't been very active in a while, so you have been sort of in a shell. Come out of your shell right now. Come out of your shell and definitely show your Bengal colors. Okay, Texter writes, hey, that was actually a rational response to my text. This is the text that said that Herd fans ran off Doc Holliday. The texter writes, I would push back on the notion that Holliday wasn't run off. He most certainly was. And the texter replies back, it probably not so much, this is about Wells, it's probably not so much that he was run off as he has 3 years left and options. Sometimes it's best to leave home. Okay, I think that's fair. That's a fair response to the response to the response. Okay, we'll do all of that this week. We're going to be back tomorrow. We'll be back in studio. Thanks for joining us here today at the Union Pub and Grill. Our first show of the new year out on location. It's been fun. We'll do it again next Monday. And, of course, don't forget, you can come to the Union Pub and Grill every Monday. Take advantage of that Monday special, $1.50 bottles and $2 call shots here at the Union Pub and Grill. For our producer, Gabriel Sellards, I'm Paul Swann. Thanks for tuning in to today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 AM.
WRDC Huntington, W231BS Huntington, broadcasting from the Oscars Breakfast Burgers and Brew Studios. This is ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.